Hello, my name's Galena. I'm the fiancé of Joshua Lee McCollister, who was murdered on July 8th by Deunn Willis and robbed by Danielle Durand. Josh's mother and I, it's a thing that we do, and will undoubtedly always do, compare notes regarding maybe if we had done something different, Josh would still be alive. I think I'll say to myself, maybe if I had brought him back to Mendocino County, like he asked a few days before he died, maybe I could have hid him well enough. The people who were stalking us wouldn't have been able to get him. Or maybe if I had gone up to Humboldt County like I intended, we'd have been in a motel for about a week, so he would never have been looking on NextDoor to adopt that puppy. And if he had, I would have said, baby, not yet. We'll get a puppy for the kids when we're a little bit more stable. But I didn't. I'd never slept on the streets before. I was going to because I loved that man so much. And I just had this sense that if I could just get away from these people that were stalking us, no matter how bad it was for us up there, if I had him with me, I'd be safe and okay, and he'd protect me. Because he was the only one in my whole life that ever did. It's such a beautiful spot where he was killed. It's so pretty, right next to the river. When I was sitting where Josh was shot, I remember thinking, I definitely would have been willing to be here with him at this spot. Wake up every morning and walk down to the river. It was so pretty. It was so much like what we wanted. When I think about how different it might have been if I had been there when Danielle Durand showed up and demanded her puppy back, I can't think of one single thing that would have turned out differently, though, if I'd been there or his mom had been there. Not one thing. Because nobody there did anything wrong at all. Josh didn't even stand up. He didn't yell at these people. He didn't have a gun. He didn't pull a knife on them. Nothing like that. He said he wouldn't give back the puppy that he'd named after Colleen and he'd gotten for his kids. That's what he did. But if I'd been there, I might very well have said, yeah, I should give this puppy back to this crazy lady that put it up for free on NextDoor and now wants it back. And out pops Deunn Willis with that gun, and I just probably would have put my hands up and said, please take whatever you want, just go. But that's basically what they did. And he still shot Josh. He still shot him. You know, I know where Deunn Willis was standing when that happened. I know where my fiancé was sitting. They sat in the same spot. Deunn Willis could have pointed that gun and shot in so many directions to make everyone know he was serious, you know? He didn't have to have bullets in it in the first place. They were already scared. He could have shot at the sky. He could have shot to either side of the bushes. There weren't people there. He could have shot so many directions, not at Josh. And I know that it's gonna get... it's gonna get spun in court like this was self-defense. That's already been alleged. He could have shot that way or that way. Why this way? I don't know if my mother-in-law, because that's what I call her, she's my mother-in-law. I don't know if my mother-in-law has actually heard all the details or not. But that's one message I'd have for her. When she's replaying what she could have done differently in her head, like, I will always play in my head what we could have done differently. Mama, there's absolutely nothing that either one of us could have done. These people were just evil. That's all. That is absolutely all. Josh was being a good dad. That's something that I know. And Mama, that you know, everybody that was friends with Josh knows he loved to get people presents. Like, he got gifts for people all the time. He was always picking up little thingamabobs to make people smile. It was that generous spirit. It's one of the first things I noticed about him after he moved in. He was so generous. So incredibly generous. He didn't do anything wrong. It was just that kind, generous spirit. That's all. And I thank God that when these people murdered him so fucking brutally, that when he was dying, he didn't know it, because he had these two people there that loved him, that were trying to save him. I'm so glad that he had them there. And that he died, I know, with hope in his heart that everything was going to be okay after the hard life he always had from the time he was so little. Such a hard life. He died with hope in his heart, believing it was all going to be okay. And that he finally had that peace. And that he'd moved towards doing everything right. You know, when he lived with me in Fort Bragg, there were things that the instigator used to do to him, to humiliate him, to psychologically torture him. He'd bring up the traumas from Josh's childhood, which were so horrible. And he'd use them to hurt Josh. I know this because they both told me about it. And, you know, when someone is psychologically torturing you like that, you don't make the best decisions. You try and you fight for a better life, but you just can't get to the place where you need to be in order to make all the right decisions. But the instigator was gone now. He was gone. He wasn't around Josh at that point. Josh was in Humboldt County. Instigator did not know where he was. And Josh was making all the right decisions to do right by his future wife and his babies. And he was so sure that some way or another he was going to get a home for us. And there was going to be a home next door for his parents. He was going to make sure of that. Some of the last messages I got from him, Mama, are just about how he was doing everything right for his people. And because he was away from this awful person, he was going to be able to do everything he knew he had to do, everything he wanted to do. He was so hopeful when Deunn Willis shot him. There's nothing we could have done to change what happened to him. Absolutely nothing. He died trying to make his kids happy. That's all.